the Indianapolis 500. And Jay Howard starts in the final row. Let's go down to Jackaroo to the IZOD Performance Pit Center.
We've all gone on a journey and we've hit the button on our GPS and it tells calculating. Basically, that's what you're going to be doing if you're the guy that's calling the race tonight. You're going to be calculating the following things. You want to count backwards. You want to be in the right position at the end. Somewhere during the race, as your GPS is recalculating, you want to see what kind of fuel mileage you've got. And finally, what you want to do is test your car. Does it run well when you're leading or when you're following? If all that works out right with the final 20 miles, at the end of all that, your GPS will say you've reached your destination. That'll be Victory Lane here in Chicago.
Field kind of spread out right now, but the back of the field is catching up to the front, which is just now entering turn number 3. Well, folks, hang on. This is going to be unbelievable with 29 cars starting in the most competitive race and racetrack that we have ever seen in series history. And here we go. Off of turn number 4, looking for the green flag, and the Apex Brazil green flag experience. Our energy is out. Here we go at Chicagoland.
One guy to keep an eye on, that blue and white car on the top side, Tony Kanaan. He's known for running up top in the opening laps.
3 wide racing in the middle of the pack. Danica Patrick moves from the middle to the top of the racetrack, and here they come to complete lap number 1.
And Scott Dixon, that is, of course, Tony Kanaan now with the new colors that Robbie was talking about, went to the high side, made a nice move.
Franchitti and Elio Castroneves battling for the 2nd position. Elio in a bit different car. He is wearing a blue and orange uniform tonight on the car as we look back from Ryan Briscoe's perspective on the battle for 2nd position.
And if you look back there, the guy on the highest side of the racetrack, we talked about him at the top of the show, that's Marco Andretti. Look at him, just sneaking up top. So he's always going to be getting up on the high side of that racetrack, making sure that the track's clean for when he really needs to get up there and make it stick.
Wow, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 right together on the racetrack behind Ryan Briscoe.
It looks incredibly calm out of the back of his car, doesn't it? Just on that one car until you get them all 3 wide from this angle.
Kanaan on the high side now of Dan Weldon, 2-time winner at this racetrack. Weldon up, Kanaan is up 7 positions, Scheckter up 5, Howard, who started last, up 5, Rafa Matos is up 3, and Weldon 2 in the early going of this race. And now Ryan Briscoe's lead has diminished, and here comes the field.
They sure do. Now, Kanaan, you remember at the top of the show, Dixon said, oh, I'm just going to kind of follow Kanaan up there. Well, he sure hasn't. Dixon's still back in the 12th spot. We don't want to count him out, but he didn't follow Kanaan all the way up there, did he?
Oh, we got a problem. Car spinning against the wall, a couple of cars, actually.
Well, that's Scheckter back there driving in the Conquest car this weekend in the 36, right there.
That's the car that has been driven by Francesco Draconi and Mario Romancini this year, but Thomas Scheckter in the cockpit for this race. And now here is
Rafael Matos.
No, I believe, yeah, Rafael Matos.
That is a disappointment because talking with Rafa today, he's never been more confident in the car his crew guys had given him at this super speedway, and that was our conversation. Just incredible confidence.
And he was involved in the same accident. And now you see Alex Lloyd has also had some contact, which would have cut down his tire. But Rafael Matos was in the initial contact, and I think he was trying to make it back to pit lane, and then, of course, had a secondary accident, not being able to get it stopped.
Let's take a look at what happened.
Up high. From the back, someone got into the back of Scheckter. Matos up against the wall.
Yeah, and that was Matos that got in the back of Alex Lloyd. That's the one we just saw coming in with his right rear gone, and that was Rafa that just drilled him in the back right rear.
This is his teammate Hamilton.
Pick your spot, get through the grass, I'm okay.
Davey, of course, was eliminated on the very first lap of the Indianapolis 500. He sees his teammate involved in an early crash here at Chicagoland. So was Alex Lloyd in car number 19. Back in a moment. Under yellow here at Chicagoland Speedway because of a multi-car crash that occurred coming out of turn number 2. And again, here are the replays.
And it started a little farther up than we thought initially. Watch Will Power with the tracker there. He gets a little bit high, starts to get loose. Look how sideways that car gets. He comes down. Go ahead and let it roll. See how close he comes to Ed Carpenter. Now right behind, as the camera pans up, you can see that that's when the rest of the cars behind start taking avoiding action. That is Rafael Matos up against the wall. And he went a long way till that car finally came to a stop. And of course, Scheckter here. But Robbie, here was the initial contact behind.
And the big sideways for Will Power seeing that is incredible. So there's Scheckter. Look at Scheckter just spinning. He ends up at the wall. Then to the right, there's Alex Lloyd with Rafa. Rafa gets the worst of that deal. Rights off the right side of the car, and he's done for the day.
Vitor Meira had damage. Alex Lloyd also damaged. He's been in for a pit stop. We are under caution here at Chicagoland. With the Whelen Southern Modified Tour, and the race is on with short tracks, open wheels, and high-speed thrills. Versus takes you back where NASCAR got its roots. The NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour from Caraway Speedway, Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, only on Versus, with Jack Arute doing the play-by-play. All right, there is Will Power. He is in 9th position, but he got very, very sideways there in front of the accident. And we'd ask him about what it's like racing at Chicagoland.
Chicago's one of the highest placings I had actually in IndyCar in 2008. And it's a great track for racing because you can run 3 wide. And it's always, it's always really close there. You know, you're running inches apart at unbelievable speeds.
And we have seen that in the first few laps of the race before we got to the caution that involved Thomas Scheckter. Lindy?
And first, we want to say that Thomas is okay. Secondly, from the driver's seat, what do you know?
I don't know. I just got hit up from behind. I'm not sure. Had a good race. I think I was past 5 cars there. Was just cruising along, and someone hit me straight up the back. I mean, I don't know what these guys are thinking so early on the race, but it happens. Feel bad for Conquest Racing. Not a lot of damage on the car, so we'll look for better things in Kentucky.
A lot has happened to you in a few days because this deal really came together last minute for you.
Yeah, and we qualified well, and we were racing well there, and I thought by warm-up we had definitely a top 10 car, but for someone to hit you from behind on one of these big tracks like that early on is just uncalled for, but that's what you get with some of these guys.
And any future plans for you?
Yeah, hopefully Kentucky and Miami, but we'll see after this.
Thomas, thank you.
Thank you.
Bob?
Thomas Scheckter is okay after the accident early on in the peak antifreeze and motor oil Indy 300 from Chicagoland Speedway.
Welcome back to the IZOD IndyCar Series. We're under yellow, about to take green. You're looking at Team Penske, number 6, Ryan Briscoe. You notice no wheel ramps, no extensions on the car. All 3 Penske drivers, you're not using those aerodynamic little nuggets they might be able to use. So they are not having the downforce that maybe some of the other team members have. We saw Will Power get squirrely. I talked to Clive Howlett. Was it because of those little nuggets not being on the car? He said, no, I think we just might have had a little cold tire. So guys, something to look for. And one guy with absolutely no downforce is Marco Andretti.
And we've talked, Robbie, a lot about Marco Andretti. Tony Kanaan, of course, had a fantastic run right off the start.
And part of why TK could do that, he had those extensions on. He had those tire kick-ups, so he has a little bit more downforce in the car, and he knows he has that. But watch him carry the momentum on the top side. A little bit of lift there, but look at him up top. It's like everybody else is out for a Sunday drive, and he's blasted along. And we've seen this is a signature move for this guy to do this at the start of the race. And we know Dixon knew that because he said at the top of the show.
He gained 7 positions, and Tony Kanaan is now running in 6th position. Jay Howard has actually gained the most positions since the drop of the green flag. He is up 10 as the field now begins to accelerate, come off corner number 4, and look for the Apex Brazil restart. And here we go once again.
Sure looked like a lot of people were changing position there well before the green. I think Race control is going to be trying to sort that one out.
Yeah, but on that break, Marco Andretti was on the overtake to push the pass. It gave him the boost to try and challenge Briscoe for the lead.
And he is dropping into second position through turns 3 and 4. So Marco Andretti now runs second. Let's see if he tries to challenge for the lead.